The crown jewels in all of stock car racing in North America. Welcome to the Winchester 400 pre-race show. I'm Jim Trado, Adam Mackey. We're on the race call today, but it's been a culmination really of an entire week leading up to one of the granddaddy races of all racing season.
It is, and not only the entire week, it's the last month or more that the staff, the series, everyone involved has worked toward what is one of the better, I think, Winchester 400 race weekends in recent years. It has been a great first 2 days, Friday and Saturday, jam-packed, all kinds of activities, including downtown. And the racing here has been outstanding with big fields of race cars. We have had a lot of fun all week long, and today no different, 400 on tap.
And we're looking at one trophy that every driver, every team wants. It's right here. This is the gold rifle. The Winchester rifle goes home with the Winchester 400 champion today. There's two drivers that know that feeling in the field today. Everybody else has that thought as soon as they roll in here. As soon as it's on the ASA Stars schedule, I want to win the rifle.
Gio Ruggiero, Stephen Nasse. They were much talked about after last year's finish. The drama at the end of the event. They're the two winners that return. Nasse with 2 wins, Gio in just 1 start. In Winchester 400 history, it was a win 1 year ago.
And the Winchester 400 has set the stage for a lot of things, including drivers that have moved on by winning this race. Getting a chance to race in the old ASA National Tour full-time by winning the Winchester 400. Back in the day, if you ran well here at Salem and Winchester, you got a shot at running the Indy 500, including the likes of A.J. Foyt, who will tell you to this day, my performance on these Indiana ovals made my Indianapolis 500 chances possible.
Yeah, and then you look at the wins list, and you got guys like Mike Eddy, Bob Seneker, Gary St. Amant, Butch Miller, all of the guys from the ASA National Tour from over the years. And then more recently, you talk about the NASCAR guys, Kyle Busch, Chase Elliott, guys, Eric Jones that won 3 in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some big names on this list, and somebody else is going to join that list today.
So when it comes to racing here, these high banks provide a lot of opportunity for drivers to try to get the car right. We had 2 practice sessions yesterday. That's it, 2 practice sessions yesterday to get their cars dialed in. What they're hoping to do is repeat what Gio Ruggiero did at the very end of that race, cross the finish line first in 2023. Adam, we're going to take a look back right now at last year's race highlights of the Winchester 400 from last season.
Into 1 and 2, they beat and bang Nasse into the wall. Ruggiero into the lead.
At the end of the day, we'll be racing again soon, and I'll remember it.
No,
there we go, Stephen Nasse
right now, so you're all right.
But surviving strategy, it's going to be so much fun. It really is. This race has been one of those. It's a crown jewel race. Guy that wins this race is going to earn that, that's for sure.
Brian Duncan looks him over. We're underway in Winchester, Indiana. Clean through turns 1 and 2 and out front. The 22 of Gio Ruggiero using that outside front row starting spot. Ty Majeski, point leader for the ASA Stars National Tour. Just as we talked about him closing on the leaders, he had moved into the top 5. Got a little too high. Here's a look at the replay again, and just under it. He started to turn at the last moment. As the Stars flag waves atop the flag stand.
As they look, front tire changer is up under the wheel well of this car, just making sure everything is fine on the Cole Butcher car. Just checked in with Anthony Campy and the team. They ran 150 laps, and right there they started to have a little bit of blistering on the right rear of their tires. So,
oh no! Around goes the 33 of Francis, and Berta saves his race car.
Talked about what was going on with Stephen Nasse. They just made a shock change on the left rear of this car. So,
Cole Butcher back out front, leading a 52nd running of the Winchester 400. Begging for a yellow right now. I don't know that he can make it another 24 laps, and it is. Left front's down.
Yeah. I think the timing of this is fascinating because we had some drivers and cars in big trouble, way on old, worn-out tires. That was a long green flag run.
Nasse again peeks inside. Butcher too strong on top. Up against the wall goes Butcher. Second time of the race he's done it. Will he save the car this time? So far, so good. Stephen Nasse wins stage number 2 and $1,000 to Nasse with 42 laps to go. Stephen Nasse in the lead. Cole Butcher problems in turn 2.
Right back up there on that wall. It seems to be attracting that red 28.
And Nasse slows because the yellow is out and Jake Garcia is the cause. 9 laps left. Into 1 and 2, they beat and bang Nasse into the wall. Ruggiero into the lead. coming to the checkered from Seekonk, Mass. Gio Ruggiero, the 17-year-old, wins at Winchester. Nassi on the front stretch. Look out. A little bit of contact.
Yeah.
And now post-race. Stephen Nassi pulls up, showing Gio what position he finished in.
The 51 picked the top. I don't know if that was, a smart move. I wanted the bottom anyway, so I just drove it in there hard, and I stayed off him as much as I could and took the lead. I'm here to win. That's what I came to do, and that's what I did.
I'd like to be raced with a little bit more respect, but, I've been there before and been young and dumb, and, it happens. But at the end of the day, we'll be racing again soon, and I'll remember it.
Welcome back to our live coverage of the Winchester 400 pre-race show presented by Cometic Gasket. We just saw the exciting moments that led to what is now a winner, repeating champion perhaps, today in the Winchester 400. He's joining us right now in between Adam and I. Guess what? We got the winner, Gio Ruggiero. How special was that race day for you last year?
Yeah, it was awesome. Everybody on Wilson Motorsports worked so hard, all year last year. We had a great season, and really my first Winchester 400 went pretty well, so I'm looking to repeat this year.
Winchester's such a tough place to win at. You came here the first time in the 400 weekend for your first 400. You had some experience here during Labor Day weekend last year. That probably paid off.
Yeah, for sure. We had a good run at the Labor Day race last year. My teammate and team owner, Donnie Wilson, ended up winning. We had a flat tire there at the end, but it was a great experience, to kind of get used to the track and get our cars dialed in.
There's not a lot that compares to Winchester Speedway with the high banking and where you run and how much you're up on the wheel. Is there any place that you can think of that's like this?
Salem's a little bit similar. It's probably the closest, and I raced earlier this year at Bristol in the ARCA car, and that was kind of close as well. But there's no track like Winchester. This place is definitely crazy and makes for some crazy racing as well.
As you're watching this, if you're rooting for Gio today, let us know. Go to the Stars National Tour Facebook page, chime in who you're rooting for. Hope it's Gio for Gio's sake, and let us know where you're watching from. We want to make sure you're part of our broadcast, so chime in on that. Join us on social as you do a live look in now. But if you want to watch all 400 laps and see if he repeats back-to-back the first time since 2015 to do so, you need to log on to tracktv.com. Gio, you also had a chance this past Labor Day to get the Super Late tuned up here at Winchester Speedway. How'd you do in those Twin 50s?
Yeah, we won both of those, and we had a solid car. So just looking to keep the momentum going. Obviously, this has been a pretty good track for me, so just got to be patient. Obviously, it's not Twin 50s today. It's 400, so got to be there at the end, and it'll be important to keep the car in one piece.
I'm doing this because your notes were really good on Labor Day weekend. And now we've got weather kind of being a factor. It was nice and warm here this weekend. Warmest Winchester 400 I've been around in a long time. But now we're looking at the notes from this past September to now. It's only been a month. How different was your car yesterday and from the notes you took away from those two wins?
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit different. We had a little bit tighter balance yesterday in practice and kind of worked on that. We struggled a little bit and had to find some speed for qualifying, but we got it tuned up and got second. So I think we'll have a bad, fast car for the race today. You
guys are throwing shocks and springs at that car, really to the last possible minute to get that qualifying run to say, do we have something? And you found it very late. What were you guys working on the most without giving too much away?
Just trying to get the car freed up. We thought we had the balance pretty good, but we were just lacking that short run speed. So we got it tuned in for the short run, and I think we're pretty good for the long run as well. So I'm excited.
Let's talk about Winchester Speedway as an event. You got in here Saturday morning. You missed Friday night's Pro Late Model race. You didn't see the packed grandstands Friday night. You saw the packed grandstands last night for qualifying on Saturday, the day before the big race. This has a really good feel of a really huge weekend at Winchester Speedway. How does it compare to like the Snowball Derby and other big events we go to?
Yeah, it's awesome. I knew that it was going to be a good showing today when I saw the fans in the stands yesterday for qualifying, and it's definitely one of the biggest crown jewel races there is. It's just like the Snowball Derby, and it's awesome to see all the fans out here supporting short track racing.
Racing for Donnie Wilson Racing applies its own pressure because the equipment is really good. You've had a chance to race now for 2 years with this group. Racing now with Cole Butcher's your teammate returning. Racing with that young talent, Gavin Bushell, who really in step 2 years ago was where you were, kind of. Wanted to get noticed, get in the Toyota program. As you move forward, how do you guys gel with that at this level of competition, Gio?
Yeah, for sure. I think me and my crew chief Dennis and spotter Brandon and the whole crew, we got gels really, really well together. We've had pretty much the same team working together now for the last 2 years, and we all get along great, and it's almost like a family. So I think our camaraderie is really good, and that helps us every weekend at the track.
How important was that win last year to what may be coming in your near future?
It was big. You know, Winchester 400 is one of the biggest races, so it's great to have on my resume, and like to have 2 of those on there.
One more question for Gio Ruggiero, defending race winner. This is today's trophy to the winner. Where's yours from last year?
I got it in my house in my trophy room with the rest of my trophies, so be cool to add to the collection for sure.
Any special lighting for this one? It's the only gold trophy they're giving away this weekend. Everybody else got silver rifles. Anything special you have that set aside knowing I got a big one?
Yeah, you know, nothing in particular, but it's cool when I'm looking at all the other trophies, and this one's a rifle, so it's definitely unique and stands out from the rest.
Gio, thanks for your time today. Joining us on our pre-race show, the Winchester 400 pre-race show presented by Cometic Gasket. And when it comes to racing here, legends have run here. Legends have won here and moved on to NASCAR Hall of Fame careers, including one driver we sat down with and asked about the intricacies of Winchester, the importance of racing well here, and what it meant to his career. Here's Rusty Wallace.
Well, I guess one of my biggest wins ever was the Winchester 400 when I won the 400. Had a great car all day long, and I remember the setup and the strain. I remember how hard it was in your body. I remember my neck was almost breaking off my body because of the G-forces. And I remember the setups, I was changing the springs right down to the very end because I never raced a track that demanded that type of setup. We kept putting more air in the tires and bigger springs and all kind of things it took. And I remember it was a tough day. A lot of action happened there. There was a lot of wrecks. But I had a really good car. I tuned on it throughout the race. And back then, when I say tune on it, it was just stagger settings, maybe on a pit stop, or just some good calls by the, staying out of wrecks and things like that. But above all, I had a fast car. And I can leave that track knowing I had a fast car and I won a big, big race. And as a driver, that makes you feel really, really good. The 400 at Winchester had a remarkable amount on my career, and here's why. My very, very first win was Bristol, Tennessee. So I go win at Winchester and would run Salem, Indiana, tracks like that with a lot of banking. And so you think back, okay, if I'm going to go anywhere and run good, what track is probably most similar to what you've run? I said, well, Winchester is almost identical to Bristol. So I go to Bristol and I win my first race. I'll never forget getting out of the car, and personally I said, that made sense. That made sense that I won at this track, but I was blown away that I won. One of the highlights of my career is when I got put in the Hall of Fame in 2013 with NASCAR. Well, when I won Bristol, I came off the racetrack and come down pit road. The first person to my car was the great Leonard Wood. He stuck his hand in the car and he shook my hand. He goes, I remember him screaming through the window going, I never seen anybody run this race with the lines that you were using. Congratulations, kid. And then in 2013, who gets put in the Hall of Fame with me? Leonard Wood. So we both go in the Hall of Fame together. He was the first guy to my car when I won my very first race, and that meant a lot to me.
Hey, welcome back to our live pre-race show, the Winchester 400 pre-race show brought to you by Cometic Gasket. We're hanging on the Fan Midway. There's cool shirts there. There's kettle corn there. There's fried bologna sandwiches. They're awesome. This is a really cool happening. And you've been here since, what, Wednesday?
Got here Thursday, actually.
All
Thursday, early afternoon. They had the big car show downtown. For the first time, they had race cars right on the main drag downtown Winchester, Indiana. Folks were walking around. It was lunch hour for a lot of the folks in Winchester, so they're coming out to get lunch. They get to see all the race cars in town, drivers there meeting and greeting with some of the families coming by. Then the parade, I was part of it in the All-American 400 pace car, which I drove from the office. Right down the main strip, all the race cars following me. Jake Albright in his Force Compact Touring Series vehicle was right behind me. The Winchester Speedway pace car in front, and all of the race cars that were downtown, able to drive from downtown right to the racetrack on Thursday. Made for a great start to the weekend.
How many different divisions do you think have raced already this weekend? 5, 6?
7, probably. I mean, we've had Thunder Roadsters, we've had the Crown Vics, we've had the 4 CRA Series, obviously. So it's big. Midwest Modified Store. It's been a great weekend.
Things turned to the attention of the National Series, the ASA Stars National Tour. Qualifying was Saturday afternoon. We hope you caught your coverage here on TrackTV.com with our live look-in. Qualifying set the field for the 53rd running of the Winchester 400. Not a big surprise on the pole, but some other drivers surprising to where they landed on the starting lineup.
Blake Rowe. qualified third. Not a surprise if you watch the Jake CRA All-Stars Tour a lot. Super late models, he runs pretty well. He got around the high banks really fast in single car qualifying yesterday. Third quick for Blake Rowe. You know, you look down through the list, Albert Francis in the top 10, Gavin Bichelle, who's really coming around in super late model action, 8th quick. We've got some youngsters up there trying to get up and mix it up with guys like Gio Ruggiero, Casey Roderick, and Steven Nassie, who we expect to be at the front of the field. Don't forget Ty Majeski, obviously.
And some of those full-timers in the ASA Stars National Tour are going to come from deep in the field. 19th on the grid is Austin Nason. He's gone to a backup car. There's a lot of stories to share with you for these 400 laps on tracktv.com.
Yeah, you mentioned Austin Nason. He was struggling in practice. He struggled in qualifying. He says, we don't know what it is. It's just not fast. We need to make a change or we're going to have a miserable Sunday. We don't want to be miserable tomorrow, so we're going to stay late tonight, work on the car, make the changeover. Good luck to Austin Nason coming from deep in the pack.
By the way, we didn't tell you who won the pole position. The Go Fast Pole qualifying award went to Casey Roderick, the most recent winner in the series. He won the Glass City 200. He's chasing another crown jewel. He's won the All-American 400, but he's never won here at Winchester Speedway. It's crown jewel season on tracktv.com.
It's time to go racing in the autumn afternoon sunlight, where you feel a crispness in the air. On the grid, tensions rise as you buckle in. In the stands, electricity builds. Every single driver, fan, and team member has this period circled on their calendar.
Mike Eddy will win the Winchester 400.
Coming off turn number 4, can he hold him off? The winner, St. Amant wins it by a car length.
From the bluffs of Wisconsin, through the cornfields of Indiana, to the honky-tonks of Nashville, drivers will push their limits in this crown jewel season. It all starts in lacrosse, where the Midwest best will battle in the legendary Oktoberfest 200. Crowning a series champion, they will bring a close to Midwest racing season. Then, it's on to the towering high banks of Winchester Speedway. Both man and machine are tested for 400 grueling laps on its hallowed grounds. Will a repeat winner emerge, or a new star of speed be born? To close, the ASA Stars National Tour will write its final verse in the All-American 400 at Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. For over 120 years, the fast and technical layout has challenged drivers of all skill levels. Casey Roderick has stood tall and tipped his hat toward the championship, but everyone yearns to play their own song on a legendary Nashville guitar. For Track TV, these are races that matter to us, and the races which matter to you. Every lap, every moment, and every win. It's finally crown jewel season.
Right in the middle of it, we're in the midway. We're to determine a Winchester 400 champion to add their name to this gold level. This gold rifle goes home with another crown jewel race winner this afternoon. Want to say quickly hello to Sam Chapman. He's rooting for Kyle Steckley, a bunch of Canadian flags. No doubt Kyle's got a shot at this thing. So does his fellow Canadian, Cole Butcher, who's got a really fast car. We just talked to his teammate, Gio Ruggiero. Chase Berta's being cheered on by Mark Bradsher. We're going on socials right now, if you didn't know. Michael Clark, hello. He's rooting for Casey Roderick, the Georgia boy. And Kevin Katansky is watching from Section F right here at Winchester Speedway. Kind of cool to see all
He
that.
loves coming to these big ASA Stars races.
Oh, man, I love the idea that we can do all that with you, for you. Go to the Stars Facebook page and join us on the conversation here. Charlie Crawl, I think, is kind of walking around looking for something to do.
He's probably having a good time talking to a lot of drivers down there.
He's got a really fast driver that's maybe a dark horse to win, but not for some that live in the area. Let's check in with Charlie on the grid.
Yeah, guys, I'm down here in the middle of it in pre-race activities. Blake Rowe, you are somebody that everyone's saying keep an eye on that red and yellow number 31 car. What do you think about your chances here today?
I hope they're right. I hope we stay out front and make everyone think about us towards the end of the race. But we've got to make all 400 of these things first. So that's going to be goal number one. We'll position ourselves to race hard there towards the end and just see if we can keep the tires pointed in the right direction, the fenders on it.
The thoughts of Blake Rowe, and I'm looking at my notes because he has experience here. You know what? He's run just last year, but a ton of laps here, including Friday night.
Yeah, he had the extra laps during the 100. That race maybe not playing out as well as he would have liked it to on Friday evening. Didn't quite have the speed to get up and compete with the likes of Kyle Crump, Stephen Nasse, and others that were at the front of the field on Friday. But the super late model looks to be pretty fast, that's for sure.
Here at Winchester Speedway, it is a big deal. It's grown again. The campers were here when they rolled it on Tuesday, and the campgrounds have been full, and a lot of folks have come to this community. Let's find out from some of the community leaders here in Winchester, Indiana, how big of a deal it is for them here locally as this race takes a part of one time a year for this wonderful community.
Speedway's always been a part of my life the whole time growing up. It's always there. Kind of made me a race fan. Me specifically, is a little bit different than most people. I've been going out to the Speedway since I was 5. My grandfather owned a towing business here in town, so every Thursday Night Thunder, every weekend, he had a wrecker out there getting the cars cleaned up off the track when they had mishaps. But he was also a sheriff's deputy, so he worked security out there. So, you know, my dad or someone else may be in there with the wreckers. He'd be outside working security. So I kind of grew up a little bit of a racetrack brat for a while. And then as I got older, still went out, watched races. Really special to me. I've taken my kids out there. My wife had never seen a race till I took her out to Winchester Speedway, so that made it even more special.
I mean, you know, you're talking about the world's fastest half mile. The fact that a lot of the drivers that are in NASCAR today got their starts. You know, Mark Martin, we just interviewed him not long ago about his experience at the track. You know, Tom Bigelow's raced there. Just a lot of big names have went on to be, you know, greats in racing.
Knowing Jeff Bodine, Dick Trickle, Martin, Jeff Gordon, all these guys that have come through here and speak volumes about our track, it's undescribable. You know, that's awesome that a start leads to those things.
The Winchester 400 is such a big deal. We brought a Daytona 500 winner here to celebrate this big race with. Now, Jeff Bodine, you raced against guys like Rusty Wallace, Mark Martin. They got their start at racetracks just like this. How hard is it to go against guys that were really good at a place like Winchester?
Well, they proved they're really good. They won a lot of races, Dick Trickle, and you can just keep naming names that raced here. And I never came here until today, and I never raced here, obviously, and I wish I had. It's a fast, hard, difficult track, and real race drivers like it hard and fast, difficult. Because that's how you can show your skill. But I'm excited about watching this race today. And I told these guys a lot of famous race drivers came from here. You named a few. So one of these guys that wins or races here might end up in Daytona and win the Daytona 500 one day.
So you had some wins, including the Daytona 500 and some of the biggest races across the country. What are these drivers feeling right now before they buckle in? What's that feeling in the pit of their stomach?
I can't tell what they're all feeling. I know what I used to feel, just like, let's get it going. I want to get going. Get me in the race car. All this stuff is fun, but it's aggravating. You want to get out there and race. So the key is, when you get all wound up like that, you've got to control that emotion when you get in that race car. And a lot of guys wreck right on the first lap. They didn't control their emotion too well. And so hopefully these guys, they realize it's a long race. They're going to take off and just kind of cool it for a while, and we'll have a great race. But a lot of good cars, great drivers. Ty Majeski, he's driving the trucks today, and he's really good in that. And so many more guys.
It's going to be a great race. It's great to have Jeff Bodine with us, and we're going to send it back up top to Jim and Adam.
From the 1986 Daytona 500 champion to a two-time Winchester 400 champion. I like the sound of that, don't you? Gary St. Amand, thanks for joining us, man.
Thanks for having me, Jim.
Last year, you and Adam got stuck next to each other for the entire race. How much fun was that calling one of these?
I had a ball. I had a great time, and I really enjoyed myself with Adam up there. And sorry you got to miss it, but that was good for me.
His benefit.
I've been waiting 364 days to come back and say, man, I get to work with this race, and I saw you here. It makes total sense because you know what? You're a kid that grew up in Columbus, Ohio, watching your dad and Don Gregory race around these racetracks. You live for these moments as a kid, saying, man, someday I hope. And you got the chance to race here a lot, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. I've been telling people, like every time I come to Winchester, it brings out every emotion inside my body. Anything emotionally people can have in their life, it comes out in me here because I've seen it all. I grew up here. You know, I've seen triumphs, tragedies. I started in the parking lot, you know, up in the stands, then in the pits changing tires, then winning the race, and then being the Grand Marshal last year. So I've been full circle at Winchester Speedway.
What'd you do this weekend?
This weekend I had a Jake's car we raced on Friday night with Ryan Fleming. We finished 4th in that. And then I was here with the Stacey's yesterday in the sportsman division, and we ran 5th and 6th in the race and won the championship. So, you know, it was another great weekend for Gary Sainema at Winchester Speedway.
How about the feeling for this whole weekend and the packed grandstands on Friday night and Saturday? These are two of the best crowds. Now, the weather helps a lot. We've had great weather, and in recent years, we were pulling people out of the parking lot with floods out there. It's a little different this year.
Yes, and you bring that up. Like it feels a little more like a fair type atmosphere here with the bologna sandwiches and all that.
Yeah,
and it seems like maybe something you know, a little bit change here in Winchester. You know, headed in a good direction for sure.
I agree it is.
One change is he's got a sweatshirt on. We don't. The weather's kind of fluctuating, but it's been warm all weekend. Let's check in with Charlie Krall, with the drivers finished second here twice. He races full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. He wants this rifle really bad, doesn't he, Charlie?
He sure does. And, Jim, I've got 2 sweatshirts on. That's how much the weather has changed. Jake Garcia, you've had some really good runs here at Winchester in the past. What's your outlook for today?
Yeah, you know, I think I'm going to say the same thing everyone else does. You got to survive 400 laps. You know, you got to have your car stay in one piece, and that's partially on me and partially on what they did at the shop. So I've got faith in my guys. The freight racing guys, Ricky Turner and Will Coates, are in the shop every day, and so I feel like they've done a really good job building my car, and I think we have a good shot at it today.
All right, we'll see how Jake Garcia does here very shortly.
What's out of this? It's live. We're hanging out. This is the Cometic Gasket sponsored portion of our pre-race show. We've got a great camera crew. We've got coverage for you all over the joint. We've got a drone here. We've got a handheld. We got everything you possibly want to cover 400 laps. So we encourage you to go to tracktv.com to catch all 400 laps of today's Winchester 400. One driver's got a challenge from the rear. Didn't happen last year. He got it right through it. Started in the back, made his way to the top 10. He's standing by with Charlie Krall.
And Jim, he's hoping to do the same thing again today, but Austin, it's going to be a little bit different challenge than it was last year. You guys swapped race cars after yesterday. What's the outlook for today? First of all, what led to that change, and what's the outlook for today?
We think the motor was blowing up. We couldn't find no speed. The fastest that car went was the first time on the racetrack yesterday, and it just kept slowing down. And we switched everything that we could on the motor. We switched our setups, and I got behind a couple guys, and I feel like we were just as good as them through the corners, but by the time we got to the end of the straightaway, we were 4 car lengths behind. So you can't make that up here. It's about motors. So we went and pulled this one out. We finished 4th at Toledo with it. So we worked all night. I can't thank the guys. I mean, they busted their butts. I mean, I don't think we stopped working from the time we got to the track yesterday to 9:30 last night. So I think we'll have a good race car. We put all our notes together, and hopefully we got something good.
All right, we'll keep an eye on the 14 car throughout the course of the day, and we'll see if we can't grab somebody else over here. And I've got my eye set on somebody right here. Dawson Sutton will come over and grab this young man really quickly. Dawson's had a pretty good season so far. You got a big win up at Milwaukee. You've announced that you're going to be running full-time in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, but today is the day you want to put that Winchester rifle on your trophy shelf.
Oh, yeah.
How's it going to be today?
For sure, yeah, it's been a really good year so far. You know, Rackley War Team, it's brought me really good race cars to the racetrack, you know, every weekend, and it's been a really good year for the ASA Stars, and I'm really looking forward to this one. This is you know, one of the big ones to win, so hopefully we can end up with the rifle at the end of the day.
Well, Dawson Sutton's going to be one of the drivers to watch here this afternoon, and if he does it, it'll be his second big ASA Stars National Tour win of the season.
What an impressive win it was, Charlie. Dawson Sutton in his first year in Super Late Models in earnest, racing here for Rookie of the Year title. He won at the Milwaukee Mile, passing Ty Majeski after hounding him lap upon lap. That was a big deal at the Milwaukee Mile, winning on a 1-mile racetrack. What's the big deal about winning the Winchester 400 and the meaning of this race in their careers? Let's find out from some of the headline drivers that we brought here. The stars are all here. What does it mean to win the Winchester 400? What does the Winchester Speedway mean to these drivers that are in the field today? Take a look.
Well, first of all, it's a crown jewel. Always watch a Winchester 400 over the course of my super late model career. Always wanted to do it, never really found the right opportunity to do it. And ever since I hopped in the car last year, I mean, this place is awesome. It's unlike any other racetrack I've been to in the late models.
Physically, it's tough too. I mean, this place takes the breath out of you making one lap.
I would use
I
an
told
up-camera
Cody
shot of something
today
that
after the
Adam
first
wants,
lap,
and I'm
I
tearing
only
down
ran like 2 or 3 laps and came in on that first
Jim is tearing
run.
down. Use
Like,
Adam and an up-camera.
you know, takes the breath out. You know, you're going around here so fast, and the way the car loads up, getting in the corner, it takes your breath away for a little bit. But once you get used to it, it's all right.
This place is just one of a kind. Pretty much just got to throw all the finesse out the window. This is one of them places, most of the time in a super late model, there comes with a lot of finesse, a lot of just being real easy. This place, you just go as hard as you can. The 400, of course, you're gonna ride a little bit, but this isn't one of them places where you just feel comfortable. You feel like you're on the edge the whole time. It's a very fast racetrack, so it feels like you almost can't breathe going around here.
Obviously, it's a survival race. All these races that we're going to here, later part of the season are survival races. So you just mentally you have to think about every move you make, and not put yourself in position to have a mishap or make a mistake. There's a lot more mental aspect of this sport than people realize, I think.
Turning into another beautiful afternoon at Winchester Speedway for the 53rd running of the Winchester 400. Drivers getting ready to go. Pre-race ceremonies underway. And yes, this place is very special. Special to me. I called my first Winchester 400 back in 2006. Started announcing here when CRA ran the place in 2005. And 19 years of very good 400 action and 20 years overall of impressive action here at Winchester Speedway. There's no place like it. A 5-car race can be an exciting race, and I think today you're going to see 20-plus very good super late model drivers put on a heck of a show for a packed grandstand at Winchester Speedway. Let's send it down again to Charlie.
I know one guy that would like to make this a 1-car race instead of a 5-car race, Adam. Casey Roderick, you've got a really fast race car starting P1 today. What's the outlook for 400 laps this afternoon?
Well, the ultimate goal is to survive the 400-lap race. It's a long day here, so we just got to keep our nose clean, make smart decisions, and make good changes in the pits if we need to, and just have a good, calm day. Things can go south really quick here, so that's our main goal, is just to stay focused on what we're doing and stay out of trouble.
You seem like a pretty calm character. Do you have any problems keeping yourself calm in the race car, particularly early in the going at a place like this?
Normally I'm pretty calm until things get a little hairy, and there's been a few races this year where I've gotten fired up, but for the most part I'm pretty calm. Just like I said, we just got to be really, really smart and on point with everything we do and execute everything well, and we'll be there at the end. We got a really fast race car, and looking forward to today's race. And want to thank Miss Mina with Platinum Express, her whole family for their support the last couple years, and Braden River Enterprises for stepping up and helping us out for the entire year. So without them, we wouldn't be standing here talking to you guys today, and I'm very thankful for the season we've had.
All right, Casey Roderick going to start from the Go Fast pole. Picked up that award in qualifying here yesterday, and he has got a rock-solid race car and should be a contender all afternoon long.
Casey Roderick, no doubt coming into this weekend as a favorite. Fast time in qualifying, which is no surprise. He wins a lot of stage points, and that's what's put him so far ahead in the standings with a chance to clinch the driver championship today, though there is a chance that we could go into Nashville if he has a really bad day, and Kyle Steckley has an extremely good day here today. But look at the field of Stars National Tour cars of ASA lined up, and Jim, we got sunshine coming back out. I think we're going to see a sunny Sunday afternoon after what had turned into cloudy and cool conditions there for a while. The wind, it was chilly during our pre-race festivities as they continue here, and we look at our clock and we're about 25 minutes away from seeing this race go green in Winchester, Indiana.
Last evening was warmer than it is right now this morning. When the sun pops out, it warms up. This track is going to change throughout the day. It's going to get greasy, and if it gets sunny on it and sun bakes it, it's going to get greasy. then that entrance to turn 1's going to change. Where do you want to enter the corner? Because you're going to have to go right to the wall, and a driver that knows how to do it has won here twice, Charlie Kroll.
Two-time winner Stephen Nasse. What's your outlook to make it 3 here this afternoon?
Man, you just got to make it to the end. You know, this is a race of survival, and, you know, the strong will make it to the end. You just got to keep the fenders on it, keep the tires on it, make smart moves, and be smooth with your changes in the pits, and then, you know, just hopefully be there at the end. Thanks, guys.
When it comes to Stephen Nasse and the pageantry, he's all about it. He loves every element that he can bring to it. His fans respond. He sold a ton of merchandise here this weekend. He's a driver that gets it. And this past Thursday, one of the traditions returned here, and you got to see it to believe it. He was in line with something in front of him. He had to eat faster than anybody else. Let's check out what all transpired here as part of the Festival of Winchester here in the Winchester 400 weekend.
And I'm like, yeah, Mrs. Wicks. That's one of the first things. It's either the racetrack or pies. That's the first thing people recognize Winchester with. I talked to a guy, he was from Oklahoma. He's a police officer out there. He's like, oh, every year around Thanksgiving we order at least a dozen, pumpkin pie. And he's like, I don't like those, but man, that sugar cream. And I'm like, yeah, trust me, I know. It's hard to live there, you know.
That actually started out just down the street. The building no longer exists. They serve pie down there at a little restaurant and started a coin shop, basically trading coins there, and then Wicks continued to grow where they produce 10,000 pies today. They actually got a kind of an outlet slash restaurant where you can go in there and get the fruit pies and all different varieties. So I mean, they're big for our community. I mean, it's a really big thing to have Wicks pies here.
Here to help present the trophy for the Wicks Pie Eating Contest.
So, Adam Mackey, you got to moderate the pie eating contest. Did you have to eat any pie to be part of that?
Oh, a number of folks said that I should have competed in it, and I was thinking maybe it was because they felt that I had gained quite a few pounds since my first Winchester 400 back in 2006. I look back at those photos of me interviewing, like, back in 13 or whatever, Chase Elliott and drivers like that, and I was almost as thin as they were.
Did Stephen Nasse get to pick his own kind of pie? Because I've been
did.
in Mrs. Wicks. They've got a lot of pie on the shelf. You can buy it by the slice or by the whole pie.
The winner, Nicholas Mead, actually chose a peach pie, which is a very good choice, but he ate pretty much the whole peach pie other than what was still left in his beard.
Yeah.
And he cleaned it up before the photos. I said, no, don't clean it up before the photos. You want that in your photos. And I'm not sure. There was many different types of pies down there. They even had some sugar-free pies if anyone, didn't want their sugars to get too high.
I love pie. I love pie.
Yeah, it was
cherry pie.
And Wicks is delicious. Have you had the sugar cream pie from there?
I've had cherry pie there because that's what I really jam on.
The sugar cream pie is pretty good. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some hidden over in Greg Wood's stash, one of the officials from CRA and Stars.
Could be. Yeah. And now you got to be thinking about pie. Mrs. Wicks is a great stop here in town.
It is.
Great breakfast as well. Great to get a feed on here. That's part of what you should be thinking about for your next trip here, including next fall when the 54th running of the Winchester 400 takes place here at Winchester Speedway. Charlie Shaw and the gang, Dan and the whole team here. Boy, it's just such an electric environment. Such a wonderful feeling to be part of this granddaddy event. The cars are lined up on the front stretch. The fans got a half-hour autograph session with the drivers at their cars before we did our pre-race show presented by Cometic Gasket. We can't wait to tell you all more about it. More coming. Pageantry continues here at Winchester Speedway. Thanks for watching us on the live look, and reminding you again, tracktv.com. Tracktv.com is where you can watch every one of the 400 laps here on the famed high banks of Winchester Speedway. Let's send it trackside.
And now we move on with our opening ceremonies, and with their rendition of Back Home Again in Indiana, we bring back once again the Randolph Courthouse Trio.
Back home. What's the key? It is key. Yeah.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still shining bright through the sycamores for me. The new mown hay sends all its fragrance from the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, then I long for my Indiana home.
All right, race fans, at this time, if you'll please rise, we will have the invocation from David Martin from On Track Ministries, followed by the singing of our national anthem from Brian Flynn, national recording artist with Flintville Train. Let's take the hats off, please. God bless everyone here today, this beautiful weather that we're having. Bless the drivers, crews, fans, and officials. Keep them all safe from harm. Lead them all to the redemption of what you have for us. And keep everyone safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Brian Flynn, please remain standing for the national anthem. Thank you.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
All right, that'll wrap things up down here on the main straightaway. We'll get these drivers buckled in, and then we'll have the command of fire engines for this afternoon's 53rd running of the Winchester 400. For now,
the pre-race ceremonies have ended. The drivers have been introduced to the crowd, and the Winchester 400 field is assembled on the front stretch. Can you feel it? We're getting closer to race time here. Join us on tracktv.com. That's where you need to subscribe to watch all 400 laps here of the Winchester 400. We appreciate you joining us on the live look, and continue to tell us on our social page, the Facebook page for the Stars National Tour, where you're watching, who you're rooting for. We're going to step away for a moment to come back to the start of the Winchester 400 at Winchester Speedway.
5-star bodies, the most 5-Star Bodies, the most advanced bodies on the market, aerodynamically engineered, manufactured from the highest grade and lightest weight materials, tested tough for optimum performance, the highest quality and most durable products you'll find anywhere. Our products help racers around the world reach victory lane. Winning never looked so good. Faster, lighter, stronger, better. 5-Star.
They said I wouldn't make it without a college degree.
They said only a man could be a roofing executive.
They said a former addict always relapses.
They said my amputation would keep me out of roofing.
They said never give an ex-convict a second chance.
They said I could never be a leader.
They said I couldn't support my family as a single mom.
At Rackley, we say they're wrong.
Want to change the world? Change it, one roof at a time.
Winchester. Even the name evokes feelings of strength, success, intimidation. For over a century, this famed speedway has entertained fans and has served as a proving ground for those who have cemented their legacies in her storied past. It's the steepest, most unforgiving half-mile in all the land. Today, the ASA Stars National Tour takes center stage like an old-fashioned gunfight, basked in a golden afternoon of autumn sunshine. Top gunslinger Casey Roderick is lonely at the top of the point standings. A winner in Toledo 1 race ago, but this outlaw has yet to claim his first Winchester rifle. Is today the day he hits the target? Two-time sharpshooter Stephen Nassy is back in town, set to duel it out again with last year's young gun Gio Ruggiero. Unfinished business is on his mind, while Ruggiero seeks to remind onlookers this is his territory. The next wave of snipers await in the shadows, aiming to fire their own magic bullet this afternoon, as Canadian superstar Cole Butcher rides again, and rookie Kyle Steckley continues to learn the ways of ASA's finest marksmen. The outsiders are poised to mount their own invasion. Austin Nason, Dawson Sutton, Albert Francis, and the two-man team of Michael Hind and Ty Majeski. So, steady your aim, set your sights, prepare to fire. It's a 400-lap run for the gun. This is the ASA Stars Winchester 400 at the world's fastest half-mile.
Welcome back to the 53rd running of the Winchester 400. I'm Jim Trade along with Adam Mackey. Our coverage today, broadcast coverage, are brought to you by 5-Star Race Car Bodies. 5-Star is a family-owned business with 300 employees that has big company capabilities and small company first-class customer service, proudly based in Wisconsin. A lot of these drivers are getting ready for their very first chance to race at Winchester Speedway. 15, 20-lap runs in practice is what these teams decided to base their chassis setups on. The experience has paid for more often than not, but last year we saw a first-time entrant take home the gold rifle.
You will see today drivers in long green flag runs. If their car's not right in those 15 laps that you mentioned that they were running during practice, wait till lap 50 or 60 on a long green flag run. They're going to be begging for a yellow flag.
And it's hard to get out of the way. It's hard to get off the momentum train that we've seen here elevate across the board in our second full season now in the ASA Stars National Tour. You can't slow down. If you lose a lap, my goodness, you better hope for that free pass, because this field is stacked. They have speed. We know we've got the best of the best assembled here for you on tracktv.com, as well as the fans here in the stands at Winchester Speedway. We're going to be in for a granddaddy. It's crown jewel season at Winchester Speedway.
There aren't many drivers in this field, Jim, that can be looked at as a field filler. You've got a field of competitors, many champions mixed in, many full-timers with super late models, whether it be the Southern Super Series, their champion. Casey Roderick, also very likely to end up with an ASA Stars National Tour Championship this year from the pole position today. Gio Ruggiero, what a season he had in super late model racing a year ago, starting alongside Chase Berta, a champion right there in the number 18 car from the Jeg Sierra All-Stars Tour in 2023.
All the stars are here. The best super late model racers from North America, including Canada, have assembled to determine who's going to win it. Let's get them fired up down below.
Our Grand Marshal, Jeff Bodine, and Jeff, the field is waiting for you to fire them up. It's all on you.
Race fans, you ready for our 400 laps here? All right, you got to help me get this thing started. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Drivers, start your engines.
The drivers have their chance right now. The cars were last on track for qualifying yesterday afternoon. They're racing on the 4 Hoosier tires they qualified on, getting the gears proper, getting first gear right, getting reverse right. That's all part of this little tune-up as they get the engines up to temperature before we roll here at Winchester Speedway to start the 400 lapper. I'm Jim Trada along with Adam Mackey and Charlie Krall on the coverage of the Winchester 400. Brian Duncan's the official starter for 20-odd years now of this big granddaddy race. Great to see Brian here, continuing the tradition, sending the field off for pace laps.
Next time by will be something that is tradition as well, sending them inside and outside as he grids the field in 2-wide formation. Possibly Brian Duncan's last time flagging the Winchester 400. He says this is the last one. I would never make that announcement because guess what? About October of next year, I would be like, oh, why did I say that? I want to come back and do it again, and then I would unretire like Rich Bickle or Mark Martin or somebody like that because I would miss this very much.
And the feeling of missing it, we could tell by talking to Gary St. Amant, a 2-time champion in our pre-race coverage. He certainly wanted to be part of this one. He's been working as a crew chief mentoring young drivers, but he knows how special it is to get the chance to race. And here is our starting field, brought to you by My Race Pass. Casey Roderick has won the Go Fast Racing $1,000 pole award. He'll lead us to the green flag. Our point leader to his outside, the defending champion, Giovanni Ruggiero from Seekonk, Massachusetts, racing for Donnie Wilson Racing.
Outside of row number 2, a guy that I don't think anybody can beat if everything goes well today. He's so good here. He's made 13 starts. Stephen Nasse from Pinellas Park, Florida, and a guy who was very good a year ago and very well could have ended up in victory lane if he didn't get against the walls right behind him, Cole Butcher from Canada.
Yeah, row number 4 equals Albert Francis hungry in his own car for the first time in 4 races on the Stars Tour. And young 16-year-old Gavin Bushell, the youngest driver in the field, will line up 8th.
Couple of young drivers in row number 5, Dawson Sutton and Chase Berta. Dawson Sutton looking for a 400 win. He's had a great season in Pro and Supers.
As these cars roll, the sun is shining brightly here at Winchester Speedway. NASCAR Truck Series star Jake Garcia back to win one after 2 runner-up finishes in this granddaddy. To his outside, Michael Hine, the hungry driver out of Hernando, Florida.
Billy Van Meter's had a pretty good car all week long in the 23. Kyle Steckley alongside, Canadian, making his first 400 start.
One of our handful of first-timers is Chase Pinsino. Logan Bearden back in the series after a handful of races a year ago. And Austin Nason, we talked about, in a backup car, will drop behind Chris Munson at the outset here after that car change last evening.
Last year in the Winchester 400, Jim, 28 lead changes. That is crazy. In addition to that, outstanding finish, a lot of drama, exciting action, and 16 cars crossed the line at the finish 1 year ago.
And more often than not, who's got the freshest shoes at the finish is part of the headline of the story on who wins this one. Charlie Krall, what's the story about the tires on pit road and what these teams are going to do in these 400 laps?
Yeah, Jim, you mentioned the sun came out, and it feels like it went up about 10 degrees when that sun comes out. So that could be a challenge for these tire specialists down here. As you see, Wilson Motorsports has 3 sets of tires. You're allowed 2 new sets, 1 set of scuffs from practice. They have elected with, you see, a new set right here. These are sticker tires right here. They have elected with their second set of sticker tires to scuff those in practice. You can do that. There's no rule that says you can't. Some teams have elected to scuff all 3 of their sets. Some teams have elected to just go with the 1 set of scuffs, but tire wear, tire conservation, and tire management going to be the key to victory here today.
Yeah, big time. And how many of those are laying when you need them the most late in the race? And how late do you wait to make that final pit stop? That has been a big determining factor in recent history here at the Winchester 400.
400 laps, our race information. Stage breaks at lap 150 and 300 for a final 100-lap shootout at the end. 3 sets in the pits, as Charlie just showed you in the top 8 qualifiers. There was no redraw this year. In years past, last year they did do a redraw. It's back to the traditional way where we start straight up off of yesterday's qualifying.
We need to mention how good these teams are and how well prepared they are. Last year we did not see a lot of drop off. We did not see a lot of mechanical issues. We didn't see a lot of suspension failures. These teams have prepared and are prepared to race in the Stars the Super Late Models in the Stars National Tour. They are ready to combat the high banks and each other. It's going to take a lot of finesse to get through turns 1 and 2 to get the pass set and ready to climb up in 3 and 4 and get the pass done by the start finish line.
Oh, the field's starting to take formation now. They've been split into 2 groups the first couple of pace laps, and the fans waving the drivers off. Another strong crowd at Winchester Speedway. It's been like this each of the 3 days. Partly cloudy conditions today, mostly cloudy for much of the morning, and it got kind of chilly. We saw Charlie all bundled up in a hoodie down there. He's starting to regret it right now. It's going to warm up and be real nice.
Well, he's got an option there to put on his ASA Stars National Tour polo. One option we have for you is one of 2 in-car cameras. Check this out. We're rolling with Cole Butcher. The driver a year ago was looking to win the championship racing here at Winchester Speedway. Got in the wall a couple times late. We're on board with the rising star from Canada, Cole Butcher. And hey, check it out, 18-year-old Dawson Sutton. He's taking us for a ride today in the Rackley Roofing, number 26 Chevrolet, as it's wave lap, the wave lap for the fans as the cars continue to weave and get temps in. This is special. We're going to ride along with Cole Butcher and Dawson Sutton. We'll have to take you along for the ride as well on tracktv.com.
Be great to have in cars. It'd be great to watch this race play out. 16 cars again finishing the race last year. We had a few more starters a year ago. This year we had 3 or 4 more starters on the scheduled entry list. They had bad luck during the Pro Late Model race on Friday night. They tore up their equipment and cut us a few more cars, but the strength of the field this year again. Try to pick a winner out of this one, Jim. It's very tough. I don't know that we can.
And at the initial outset, the only driver who got a choice to pick what lane they want to start the race in is our Go Fast Pole Qualifying Award winner, Casey Roderick. He has chosen the outside of the front row as he leads this field behind the pace car with the signal for Jeff Bodine's green flag to come in just 1/2 mile here at Winchester Speedway. Roderick will lead us to the green flag to his inside Gio Ruggiero. A great look at Blake Rowe. What a huge win it would be for Blake in the 131. He'll line up inside row number 2. They'll want to sneak up to the outside at some point early on here as the rubber gets down. The race wears on. There'll be multi-grooves, but the top in 1 and 2 is where you want to be, and that's where Stephen Nasse rides. And man, as Stephen Nasse, when he's on kill, he's on definite kill here at Winchester.
This is probably his best racetrack, to be honest, as they bring it to green in 4.
Off of turn 4. Crown Jewel season continues here. The Winchester 400's underway. Roderick and Ruggiero lead us to the front stretch. The first 3 have checked out. Ty Majeski started in 5th. He's the lone car on the inside, trying to keep that 5th position behind the lead trio down the backstretch.
All about getting through those first couple of turns. You saw kind of the dust kick up with no cars on the track already today. Now it's cleaned up, and they're still side by side back in the pack. See Jake Garcia, former runner-up of the Snowball Derby, a full-timer in the NASCAR Truck Series, racing the inside lane in the 35.
Staving off the temptation on the freshest tires they'll have all race until they came to a pit road on an opportunistic tire change. These cars feel really good, really snug. We see a couple cars already starting to dance near the outer wall, chasing position now early on in the Winchester 400.
Austin Nason trying to make his way to the front after going to the backup car. Had to start at the back of the field. Already his car looks to be showing maybe a little more speed than what he had. He was not good in practice, not good in qualifying. A driver was expected to be good. NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series star Ty Majeski in the Hein machine, the 91, running right now in 5th and racing after a 2-time winner of this race, Stephen Nasse.
Majeski's second trip here to Winchester, second time only to run the Winchester 400. Last year came in a Michael Hein car. Unfortunately, his race was cut short by a motor issue on lap 26. So Majeski told me yesterday, man, I'm here to hunt the big ones. I want to win every crown jewel race. He's in the hunt. now in the 5th position behind this battle for second. Down the backstretch, not too far out of sight from Majeski, but here comes Ruggiero on the outside. Blake Rowe a moment ago, a couple laps ago, was running the top side. Now it's Ruggiero's turn to run near the wall.
Nose to tail, we saw Majeski looking again to the inside of Nassi for the number 4 position. That's Ruggiero and Rowe right in front of him. Rowe, a young driver who is winning his first Jake Series All-Stars Tour Championship here in 2024, and now we're side by side for 4th.
Nassi in his 14th Winchester 400 runs on the outside of Majeski. We mentioned just his second run, but these two combatants have raised the level. The last decade or so, Nassi and Majeski have gone at it and won their fair share of big-time races. Twice in the last 5 years, the Winchester Rifles gone home with victory.
Rowe nose right up underneath the 22 of Ruggiero as they exited turn number 2 that time. As they run single file, the drivers behind them, the veterans side by side for the number 4 spot. And even though they're side by side racing, Jim, they're still staying with second and third. They've got good race cars, but racing side by side this long early in the race isn't necessarily the greatest thing. You take a lot of chances when you're doing that here at Winchester.
Yeah, Majeski in the bottom, that's pretty much where he started this race and continues to run. Now you're wondering, why would he just want to run and ride behind Nassi? He has a good car right now, and as he sees Blake Rowe's red car getting bigger in his front windshield, he's going to try to pick him off on the inside for another spot. See you, Nassi. I'm going after Blake Rowe, says Majeski.
When you've got a car that can rotate on the bottom, and we've talked about this in the past here at Winchester, preferred lane is up where everyone's running close to the wall. If you can make your car turn on the bottom and keep your momentum up, you've got a really good piece, and Ty Majeski is showing that early on.
Majeski running the high of racing in his home state of Wisconsin to his 4th Oktoberfest 200 win just a week ago. Hit Michael Hine in a team car. They finished 3rd with that one. It's now time for Ty Majeski to adapt to a Michael Hine car. This is not a Toby chassis. That Majeski's won 39 Midwest Tour races and 5 championships.
I think he could probably drive just about anything, and I'm sure he gives about as good input back to a crew chief on what changes to make if he doesn't make them himself, to be quite honest. He's a hands-on guy, as Ty Majeski. He knows how the feel of the car should be. And he's raced so many different racetracks. Even though he's only been to Winchester a couple of times, he's got this place down, and he's fast early on.
If you recall, Ty Majeski in 2016 won the World Series of Asphalt Stock Car Racing at New Smyrna Speedway. This past February, we began the ASA Stars Tour season there. Majeski was passed late in the going by Bubba Pollard, who was running a completely different line. And Majeski said, when I saw him running that line, trying to figure out whether or not he knew his days and his minutes and his laps were numbered, as Pollard moved past Majeski before he had issues. Majeski running a line that not a lot of guys will try this early on. It's making it work in that number 91 iRacing Ford.
And ironically, when you look back to New Smyrna, it was that inside lane that Pollard was running that got him by Majeski, and he said, man, I've never seen a car rotate through the corners, especially 1 and 2 like it was, and now it's Majeski using the inside lane at Winchester.
Charlie, Majeski's up to 3rd right now. What you got?
Yeah, guys, it's no surprise that 91 car handling extremely well here in the early going yesterday. Right before qualifying, went down just to check in and say hello with him. Ty working the shock dyno on his own, building his own race shocks, checking the notebook. He is very meticulous behind the wheel. And again, no surprise that 91 car handling that well this early here in the Winchester 400.
Yeah, that's something I noticed as well in the pits. A lot of teams have their own shock building, shock valving systems built on their war wagons. They're not just in the haulers anymore. They've got a mobile here. All the haulers and crew members have to go across the track to the front stretch to work out of the haulers, so they have to bring everything in they possibly can. And that's typical Majeski. That's classic Majeski, working on his own shocks and springs. He'll change multiple sets. He knows exactly what sets he's built and what he wants to feel in his race car. One of the best at it in short track racing.
And he's made his way to the number 2 spot. Ty Majeski qualified 5th, started this race inside of row number 3 right now. He is on his way to the front. Casey Roderick leading the way, the pole sitter of the 53rd running of the Winchester 400, presented by Vors Welding and Steel. But Roderick's time at the front of this field, those laps could be numbered at least early on, as now Stephen Nassi tries to make a move on Rowe.
Great run here by Blake Rowe. He started 3rd. Only had Majeski roll past him. Nassi hasn't tried the bottom yet. He has not looked down there. He walked through second practice with his crew chief, Cody Lick, and saying, man, I need more comfort. This left front feels numb underneath this chassis in turns 3 and 4. The team was pitted way down in turns 1 and 2 so they could see what the car was actuating there. But he said, man, I need a little more feel, a little more comfort. They kept working at small changes on that 51 Mike Smith plumbing machine.
Oh, Dawson Sutton in the 26 got up into the wall in corners 1 and 2. One of our leading rookie contenders. The 26 of Dawson Sutton coming into this race, 5th place in points. We go on board with Sutton to see if he's able to continue, and he has to be a little bit nervous if you get up into the fence here that something doesn't break, something doesn't go down, maybe a tire, but right now he's just trying to fall in line and see if the car is okay.
He's off pace back in 19th, trying to feel it out. You can see the vibration, literally. You can see the vibration that he's feeling in the car, seeing if the car is capable getting out of the gas for a lap or two. White wall for sure on that Rackley Roofing Chevrolet.
Yeah, he definitely got up against it and stayed in it for quite a while as the Rackley War Roofing number 26 entry has some damage to the right side.
If you got a chance to join us on socials, use the ASA Stars National Tour Facebook page. Are you rooting from Nashville with this young rising star, Dawson Sutton? Who are you cheering for? Let us know where you're watching. The Winchester 400. Join us on socials. On Stars National Tour Facebook page.
Some of the slower cars at the back of the field starting to drop.